G'day guys, welcome back. Rugby is a cruel sport, okay? In the world of rugby, there's only one thing, okay, worse than losing to the All Blacks, okay? And that is losing to the French. Because when you lose to the French, you're left to wonder for the rest of your life, was that a forward pass? But for Scotland's case, you're left wondering, did you get screwed by the referee? Because, man, that looked like a try to me. First up, Nick Berry, the referee, he's a saint. He's actually a saint. He's a much better person than me, okay? I don't know how he had if I was the referee on the field, you should be, like, by the way, if you're French, you should be grateful that I wasn't the referee on the field. Because if it was me, I would have given him the try without a TMO review, right there on the spot, just for what Matthew Randall did to me at the Bledisloe Cup, okay? I would never forget that, but Nick Berry is a much better person than me, and he actually went to the TMO. He couldn't see the ball being grounded on the field. It was like hands everywhere, and the TMO took his time, and he almost told Nick Berry that it was a try. Nick Berry almost gave him the try, and he was like, hold up, just let me check it one more time, gotta make sure. And it ended up concluding that there was not enough evidence that this ball was grounded, right? So the thing with rugby is that they literally, the law literally says you have to have the ball, like, vision of the ball from the camera angles to be on the ground. And not only on the ground, but on the ground that's past the try line. So there's two things that failed to conclude this try. Like, I think everybody in the world with a brain would have said that this was a try. But just because the decision making has to be evidence based, so they have two pieces of evidence they need to see. First, the ball actually touching the ground, and the ball actually being beyond the try line. So this is actually a really interesting kind of situation. So here you can see that the ball, you can maybe argue the ball. So first of all, this ball kind of like went on the foot. This foot. The first thing that people would conclude that the ball is no longer on the foot, must be on the ground, right? But this, like I said, they need to have vision of the ball actually on the ground. So here's the ball. There's no vision on the ground in this shot. But this shot here, right, you can see this really tiny little bit of ball. You might be able to say that the ball's touched the ground here, okay? I think a TMO can say that the ball's touched the ground. But there's no evidence here showing that the ball is actually beyond the try line. That's the second piece of information that is missing here. So this one here, you can say that the ball is definitely on the try line, but there's no vision of the ball actually being on the ground, right? Even though this line here is actually this line here, right? This is the exact moment, or like just a split second before this shot was taken, right? So there's like, if you add all these things up, yes, the ball is on the line, and it should have been a try to Scotland. But just the evidence needs to be conclusive. Like, you literally need to have a screenshot of the ball on the ground over the try line for the TMO to actually overrule the referee decision on the field, which was a no try, right? We can see that Nick Berry in this compromised position, he couldn't see the ball actually being ungrounded as well. And yeah, so that's just the way it is, guys. It's a little bit tough, and a lot of Scottish fans will be very disappointed by this decision, but yeah, like, that's the thing. Interestingly though, like, there's a little bit of story I want to just tell you that in Super Rugby, I've seen something done actually by Nick Berry that I at the time I thought was incorrect. It was actually an incorrect thing he did at Super Rugby. So there was one, I can't remember, this was last year, I'm pretty sure, but it was definitely Nick Berry. Actually, I don't know if it's, but it was definitely a Super Rugby. I'm pretty sure it was Nick Berry. No, it's definitely Nick Berry. So what happened was, Nick Berry on-field decision was like, he went to TMO and he told TMO that he definitely saw the ball beyond the try line, right? But he couldn't see the ball grounded. So all he asked was that the referee to find the screenshot or find the evidence that the ball was grounded, and he was happy to give a try, which was actually incorrect. At the time I did my review, I said that was, I said in my review that was incorrect, because you can't, the referee did find a screenshot that looked, something like this one here, right? Where the ball was on the ground, but there was there was no evidence that the ball was actually on the ground past the try line. But Nick Berry told the TMO that the ball was past the try line. He just couldn't see the grounding. And he put the two together and concluded that it was a try, which was actually not the right process, because you actually need to give a decision on the field whether it's try or no try, and the TMO will have to find, what they call it, has found like irrefutable evidence that it's basically a screenshot of the ball on the ground beyond the try line to overrule the referee decision on the field. It's actually a really interesting sort of situation here, because Nick Berry has done this in the past where he added two pieces of evidence together himself on the field. But that's because he had sort of like half the evidence on the field, which I think was the right decision, by the way. The decision that was made in Super Rugby was the right decision. It was a try, but by the rules, by the law of the requirements that's set by World Rugby, you actually can't do that. You actually need like literal screenshot evidence that the ball's on the line or over the try line. So yeah, really tough. But I think that the referee actually made the right decision, even though everybody with the brain in the world can add these two pictures together and say that is a try. And in fact, it is a try. But it just happens the way the law just doesn't allow the TMO to overrule the referee on the field without that screenshot of the ball actually touching the ground. With that being said, whilst we're talking about the law, right? The kicking duel is becoming a bit of an issue. So currently, basically, the law says that if you receive the ball and you advance forward 5 meters, players that are offside is allowed to tackle you. So what ended up in a situation, especially in this game, is that Finn Russell just like catches the ball inside his own 22. He doesn't even call a mark. He just stands there. And the French team, because nobody was chasing from following the kick, the entire French team just standing there with their hands up, waiting for Finn Russell to move forward, so then they can just go up and pressure him on the kick. But because nobody was, because Finn Russell knows this, he just like stands there and waits for like inaction. Essentially, there was a lot of inaction going on during this game because of that. And there's some talk about discussion and commentary that I watched about like changing the law about this. I think the easy way to change the law is this: if you're not onside, you can't tackle, which forces the ball kicker to chase the ball that he kicked, right? Which will make the game more exciting. And also it stops the ball kicking guy just like punting the ball down the field. He has to pressure it. He has to put everybody on side. And actually makes the kicking like a bit more strategic, forces him to kick more strategically. And most importantly, if you kick the ball down the field, you have to run up to chase this ball, which means the return kick, there will be an open spot, right? Your spot that you're covering is now open for the return kick, which makes that makes that decision making on whether you want to kick the ball or not in the first place a big one as well. Because if you kicked it and then they just kick it back because you have to put everybody on side to make the tackle, then you have to be really like strategic on where you're kicking it instead of just punting it down the field. That's what we saw today. So that was a little bit something that I feel like could be changed. And another thing is this game, there was a lot. I think again, Scotland going into this game as well. I think Scotland really, despite the decision here, I felt like Scotland really should have really fell into complacency trap once again this year. They were looking really good in the first half. Finn Russell was again doing absolutely everything. In fact, before this try was scored, let's just say it, Finn Russell is the one that won the ball. Like they had a scrum, the French secured the ball. They had a breakdown. Finn Russell is the one that pressured the halfback and got the ball knocked the ball loose from the tackle and then chased up and then jumped onto the ball, secured it for Scotland to give Scotland this opportunity to try to score the try. And it was just the whole game was just Finn Russell doing everything. And once the French in the second half start putting a bit more pressure on Finn Russell, nobody else in the Scottish team kind of like stepped up to feel that, to kind of take the load off him. So Finn Russell was under a lot of pressure in the second half to do his passes. And then it was just like the Scotland team just looked really like everybody was just like being complacent and not really, doing. I feel like it was not really, like really just like looking at Finn Russell going, do something for us. We're hoping for you to make something happen. And it just didn't work. And again, in the second half, the French was also that game. Didn't really play that well, to be honest. Finn Russell was just dominating the kicking game. But outside of that, the Scotland was able to spoil the French line out a bunch of times. The scrummaging was a little bit 50-50. I thought it was a bit 50-50. Both teams were having a bit of a shot. I thought maybe the Scotland had a bit better scrummaging, slightly better scrummaging there as well. But the breakdowns, I think the French was a little bit better at the breakdowns. But overall, it was really like neither teams were like really committing, and there was a lot of like I said, the non-committing kicking that needs to be changed. And and I think Scotland even had a yellow card in their favor, which Antonio was sent off. Antonio was sent off, and in that 10 minutes, Scotland didn't score a single point. The French defended really well. Scotland did try to go for a try, but they had 7 minutes coming out of the sheds, freshened up, didn't take any advantage out of that. Didn't get a single point out of the 10 minutes that the French play with a missing play. So that Scotland really missed the opportunity there. And and it really didn't look like Scotland was able to score anything in the second half until all the way to the end to have this denied try against them. But I think, Scotland definitely, I do think that, especially considering how good they looked when they scored that first try, 8 minutes into the game, it really felt like the Scotland team just went into complacency more. Like the first try was so beautiful. Everybody in the backline touched the ball. And then, everybody created space for someone else. And the new guy, what's his name? Harry Patterson did a nice little inside ball and then set up Hugh Jones, who eventually offloaded to set up his teammate. Who was it? What's his name? The guy, not Stang, what's his name? Kyle Rowe? Yeah, I think it's Kyle Rowe is the name. But anyway, they set up his teammates for a try. But that set of play was just so beautiful. We just didn't set that again for the entire rest of the game. It was 72 minutes. None of that happened again. So in the end, only one try for Scotland, despite leading the game for the most part. The French was completely out of ideas as well. Didn't really look much better. Jalibert was making a lot of mistakes. And eventually he took the new guy, the youngster, the guy that's, really starting to earn his stripes in the French team, Bierry. Basically solo try. He just got given the ball on the sideline. Nothing is happening. Defenders swarming onto him. He just kicked the ball down the field, chased it down, try time. It was just completely solo effort from him. And and then kind of saved the French with a 1 point lead, and to literally put the French from out of nothing, right? And I think there could be Jonathan Danty played pretty poorly. Moefana, as we kind of predicted in the preview, was put onto the field to replace Danty. Most people probably thought he would. Yeah, most people probably thought he was going to go for Bierry for the winger, like he kind of played in the wing last week. But no, he was on for Danty. Danty was he was dropping the ball, just he was probably a little bit wet. There was a bit of rain going into it. They were dropping the ball on the ground. I really wasn't getting the impact that they really wanted from him. And then the other thing was that the what do you call it? The entire French forward pack again coming off the bench, unlike last week against Ireland where they had a definitive lift. Against the Scotland forward pack, it didn't have that lift once again. There was a lot of youngsters coming up and just really didn't click at all. What's his name? I think the Jalibert might get dropped in 2 weeks' time. The next round of Six Nations coming around because again his performance was really lackluster. The bit of drop balls, and he did make a good pass to set up the first try for Fiku, but outside of that, he was really just kicking the ball down the field for Finn Russell to do whatever he wants to kind of pull the strings, and his his coverage of this Finn Russell's kicking game wasn't really on point either. So overall pretty lackluster game, but very controversial game. So let's have a look at some of these match stats 1 try to 2 to Scotland. The run meters Scotland had more, 407 run meters to the French 342. Defenders been quite identical. Turnovers conceded. French actually conceded more turnovers, 15 against the French, 12 against Scotland. 13 tackles made for Scotland, 157 for the French. 17 missed tackles for Scotland, 16 for the French. So missed tackle count is actually pretty low because there really wasn't that much like spicy movement going on for both teams. One thing I thought was a big improvement for this Scottish attack was Tuipulotu was getting a bit more action this game than he did last game against the Welsh. Kicks in play 44 against 40. Like, yeah, this is the Springboks versus Lions tour again. This number is actually, I think this might be a little bit higher than that. I think the Springboks and Lions was like 38 or something, high 30s. 44 to 40, like, and there was just really no one was pressuring the kicks. Just everybody in the middle of the field with hands up. Quite embarrassing. They need to change the law. One drop goal by Finn Russell missed. But lineouts, both teams were struggling a little bit. I think the French lineout really struggled for the most part. Scotland lineout kind of like only started to struggle like towards the end of the match when you really, like again, the pressure piled on. The Scotland lineout kind of started to fall apart. But the French was under pressure the whole game. There was, even though they only technically lost 2, there was a number of lineouts that was spoiled by the Scotland team. There was 1 scrum loss against Scotland. I thought overall there was pretty even. There was the French received penalties against them as well, but not on their own feed. Penalty count, 6 against Scotland, 9 against French. And again, this is a pretty disciplined teams, you might say. But, really not much action considering how much kicking was going on and everybody with their hands up. You can't get a penalty if you have your hands up in the air, mate. Everybody knows that. And then there was 1 yellow card against Antonio Uni, a bit of a charge. Almost could have been a red card if it had actually hit someone on the head. But that is what it is. So, yeah, let's have a look at the tries. Really, like I said, there's not much happening. We'll just end this pretty quickly. 8 minutes into the game was the most exciting try. I guess 6 minutes into the game is the most exciting try for Scotland. Basically, they were like getting some form momentum, got just outside the French 22. Just nice little passes in the backline. Everybody in the backline touched the ball. And then eventually, I think it was Van der Merwe or something. I think it was Tuipulotu, maybe Van der Merwe, like basically looped the ball behind and then just created more space out wide. They just handball all the way to the end. The new guy, Harry Patterson, was stepped in for Kyle Stang, whose wife is in labor. And Harry Patterson ran down the field. Nice little offload infield to Hugh Jones. And Hugh Jones popped the ball. Another pass, beautiful pass infield to White. Who was it? Ben White? What's his name? But for the first try, so it wasn't. I said it was. I said it was. Yeah, no, it was actually Ben White. So yeah, I got the name wrong. But yeah, Ben White is the one that scores the first try for Scotland. It was beautiful, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this is Scotland really looking good. And there was a lot of urgency out of Scotland in the early game. Only thing, in fact, Scotland was just like completely overpowering the French. Basically for the first, 10, 15 minutes or so, for the first quarter, let's say. In fact, the only thing that the French had going for them is that visiting fans, right, singing the national anthem louder than everybody else in Murrayfield. You feel like this was at in Paris, the Stade de France or something, because it was so loud. Like, the French national anthem were ringing on our stadium. That was the only thing that was going for the French is the singing of their national anthem. There's the fans singing their own national anthem during the game. 10 minutes in the game, Damien Penaud finally had a little bit of like something break. Scotland gave away a penalty, and Ramos kicked 3 points, 7 points to 3, 10 minutes into the game. Finn Russell gives a penalty right after this, around 22-minute mark. He kicks this one, 10 points to 3. Sorry, not Finn Russell. The Scotland get a penalty. Finn Russell kicks this one. Again, at around the 25-minute mark, it's very clear that Finn Russell's kicking game was just like dominating. He almost kicked 22, which just, the French kicking was just like down the field, and Finn Russell's just like having a bit of a field day. Picking his spots wherever he wants. The set piece from the French was looking a bit messy as well. And there was 28 minutes into the game, there was a French offside. And Scotland, again, putting pressure in the French right in front of the goal. And Finn Russell kicks another one. 13 points to 3. Just before halftime, 30-minute mark. Actually, not before. 30-minute mark, the French finally got a little bit of urgency. And there was a quick turnover just outside the Scotland 22, and then the French just got the forwards to start pounding through. Just really quick ball. Something that Maxime Lucu has been known to be really good at. Just quick ball, fast ball. This was just lining fast ball breakdown. French forward just complete power game. Marching through. Got 5 meters short from the try line. Then again, just quick ball coming out. Jalibert probably did the best play. He did the whole game. He got the ball and just saw the wide space out wide. And just with, rush defense right in front of him, flung it over the top to Gao Fuku, who runs the ball into the corner for the try. 13 points to 10. And just before halftime, gets sent off for a yellow card, and Scotland has an opportunity to get 3 points. But they made the right decision here to go for the line, to go for the try. They went for the scrummaging, just thinking that the reserve prop might be a weakness. I think because they should just take in the tab. I think because there's no actual advantage in scrummaging because when a prop gets sent off, they just take off a winger and then put on a prop. So they still have a full 8 forward, so they're not actually missing anyone. But Scotland decides to go for the scrum anyway. They look like they were looking pretty good, but eventually, just on the 40 minutes mark, the France actually wins the scrum penalty and turns the ball over and finishes the game at halftime. Second half, again, you can just see the slump of the Scottish energy. Like lots of complacency. It starts kicking. You can see it's like Finn Russell is the only one that's kind of like doing anything. Aldridge got an injury. Apparently he's going to be okay according to some of the stuff I read. 50 minutes into the game, the Doherty dropping the ball. The French is looking so sloppy, but the Scotland again was just happy to be here, to be leading. And there was Jonathan Doherty was dropping the ball. There was a short on penalty to Scotland for scrum pushing early against the French. And then at this point you can tell the Scotland was very happy to just like not lose, right? Because every time, like, this is not like big game-winning moments. This is not game-winning moments. Like Jonathan Doherty dropping the ball, right? Yes, you got the pressure alleviated. French pushing the ball early. Yes, you got a short on penalty, free kick. The Scotland team was celebrating that they've won the game. And at that point, I'm just like, bro, you still got 20 minutes, 30 minutes left. You're celebrating like you just won the game, and you won the lottery or something, right? And then you can tell the mentality of the Scotland players. They're just happy that they're not losing. Just complacency, mindset. To its, very, very, very obvious there. The, 55 minutes of the game, there was a scrum penalty to Scotland. Then there was an offside right in front, and man, Scotland was so grateful to take this 3 points, and they've taken that, ticked the scoreboard up to, 16 points to 16 points to 10? No, 16 points to 13. Wait, is it 16 points to 13? Yeah, no, 16 points to 10 at this point. And then there was a, what happened after this? Yeah, and then on 69th minute, Bieri, again, after a lot of lackluster kicking, the French actually started to feel the urgency at this point. Bieri got the ball in the wing, kicked the ball behind. And in fact, the French is the first team to start chasing these like lackluster kicks to put pressure on the opposition, whereas the Scottish just all stood back, sort of thing, still waiting for the French to kind of take initiative. So the French actually took an initiative here, which is kind of like what you wanted to do. Bieri eventually, like I said, got the ball in the wing, kicked the ball behind, chased it down. Try time, 16 points to 17, French taking the lead. And then finally on the 76th minute mark, the French got a final penalty. They set up a more, again, the French was kind of on the front foot. They got a penalty before this, because there was I think there was an offside or something. But anyway, there was a 50-meter opportunity for Ramos to kick the goal. It was a bit of an angle, but I think he's definitely done this before. But the French decided to go for the try. They went for it. They got a penalty, and the second penalty was much easier. They kicked this one. Again, they went for the maul. Scotland got caught for side entry. And then Ramos kicked the 3, put the scoreboard up to a 4-point gap, 20 points to 16. Now Scotland has to score a try. And finally, like I said, the Scotland was literally not going anywhere, and he took the Kyle Rove to get the ball flat-footed inside his own half, looking like nothing is happening, and did with dancing feet and just completely ran through the French defense and then got 10 minutes short from the try line and he dropped the ball. Yeah, really disappointing. So there was a scrum. France got the ball out. Nobody looking like they were going to get the ball turnover. Again, it was Finn Russell really put in an extra bit of a shift, energy, went in for the tackle on halfback, got the ball knocked out, and then jumped the ball himself, got the turnover for the Scotland team, and Scotland crashed the forwards for about 10 phases. And then, yeah, eventually, TMO decision, no try, no conclusive evidence, and Scotland went down 16 points to 20. Yeah, so another really tough one, and let me know your thoughts, guys. France win 20 points to 16. Do they deserve it? I think every win in rugby is deserved. I do think that the French had a better finish. They definitely looked like the team that wanted to win the game for the last 20 minutes. The Scotland looked like they finally wanted to win the game when they were behind, but Scotland was just riding on complacency for way too long, way too long. They had opportunity to score tries. They had opportunity against 14 players, and they just went, nah, we're happy. Oh, this is not gone. Everybody just celebrating, running around, high-fiving everybody. When there's a French knock on, it was just, I thought it was just, Gregor Townsend needs to look into that issue there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about this game, and I appreciate anybody who my patrons, my channel members. You can, join yourself if you like. Help me out a lot. I appreciate that. And thanks for watching, guys. See you guys a bit later. I think the England game's already started. Got to go watch that. And cheers. Have a good one.